everyone, it's Norm here from International Motor Cars, and as you can see, we ended 2020 with selling this beautiful 2007 Ferrari F430. Now, rolling into 2021, I wanted to do a very quick recap on a whole number of different things that happened here in 2020 at International Motor Cars. It was a great year for the automobile industry in whole. It was a great year for our YouTube channel growth. And it was a great year here for buying and selling some cool cars and some firsts. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over my 10 favorite cars I sold in 2020, just like we did in 2019. Let's get started right now. All right, so number 10, I'm actually gonna make this a tie between two cars simply because I had my list made and this car wasn't sold at the time I'd made my list. It only just sold in the last couple days here. So number 10, we're gonna obviously put the 07 Ferrari F430 pictured here behind me. Quite simply, I mean, it's a Ferrari, so obviously it makes the list just for being a really clean, really nice example of an F430 that was both a pleasure to take in trade and a pleasure to sell again to a new owner. And tying that, we're gonna do the 07 Porsche 911 Turbo that we took in trade and sold. It was a manual transmission car, so these cars are becoming very rare, very collectible, very special, and it had some cool fab speed parts on it, which I personally love, and I think made it just that much more special of a car. So tied for number 10 are the 07 F430 here and our 07 Porsche 911 Turbo manual coupe. All right, so number 9 is our 2005 Ford F350 monster truck. What more can I say? It was an absolute blast to have this thing. We made some fun videos with it at the beginning of the year. We crushed 2 cars, which if you haven't seen that, you can click the link right here to watch that right now. I mean, it was a monster truck. Hilarious thing to own, hilarious thing to get inquiries on and sell. And I mean, I would buy it again. I'd like a newer one that's maybe a little bit easier to finance. That was the only reason this thing sat around. It's just hard to sell because of the financing, but super cool, super fun, had a ton of interest in it, probably more so than any car we've ever had here, or definitely it's up there. So number 9 was our F350 monster truck. Okay, number 8 is the 2015 Porsche 911 Turbo, the silver 991 generation coupe. Now the reason I put that is that for us kind of represents you know, moving forward with buying some newer exotic stuff and newer expensive Porsches. As you know, as time goes on, that's what we want to get more and more into. And that was a car that, you know, we took a gamble on. We bought it mid, you know, COVID lockdown, paid a big penny for it because it's a unique car, and it paid off. I drove it on a rally and sold it the following day. So number 8, not number 5, is the 2015 Porsche 911 Turbo Coupe. Okay, number 7 is the white 2012 McLaren MP412C. And again, just an awesome exotic car. Not the first McLaren we've sold. We did sell a McLaren in 2019, which made the list of my 10 favorite cars as well. I think that car was number 1 actually. But 2012 McLaren MP4, absolute awesome car to own, have some fun with. Again, made some cool videos with it. And again, mid-COVID buy and sold it right away, proving, you know, we're able to find buyers for expensive luxury cars, regardless of any perceived or real economic scenarios. So number 7, McLaren MP412C. All right, car number 6 is the 2004 Rolls-Royce Phantom, which again, for all the reasons that I've listed on the previous few cars, is why it ranks so high. That was a first for us. We'd not had or sold a Rolls-Royce here, so super cool to get a really unique piece of inventory like that, that, you know, there's only a couple of them for sale in the country. Again, something we took an absolute gamble on. I will say not the most saleable car, so, you know, maybe learned a lesson buying such an old example of one. But again, you know, mid-COVID, we were able to find a buyer who, you know, wanted to spend 6 figures on a Rolls-Royce Phantom. And again, you know, awesome car to own, awesome car to have in our showroom and represent, and definitely looking for another one, but maybe a little bit newer one, newer Wraith, newer Ghost, something like that. But still, it was a first for us to sell and have a Rolls-Royce Phantom in inventory, and for that reason, car number 6 on my favorite cars I sold in 2020. Okay, we're getting down into it. So number 5 was the fire orange BMW M5 that we took in trade on a really special 911 Turbo the year prior in 2019. And again, if you haven't seen the videos on the M5, you can do so by clicking the link right here, right now. But the reason this M5 ranks so high for me on the list against some other really cool cars was simply how rare and unique this was. This was, from my research, one of 15 fire orange M5s built, one of, I believe, 4 in the country. So a very special, very unique, very rare car. And again, fitting into our inventory, the car had like $55,000 or $60,000 of modifications done to it. It was like 850 wheel horsepower. So not only a really unique color and spec on an M5 you'll never see again, but highly, highly modified. And you guys know I love my modified cars. Really special example. Happy to represent it, happy to sell it again mid-COVID, and for that reason, number 5 on my favorite cars sold this year. Okay, car number 4 on my favorite cars I sold in 2020 is the Varis Evolution. This was by far the most unique, the most highly modified, and the most special Evolution I have ever seen or ever come across on. This was definitely, like, hands down, there's no doubt, anyone that saw it knows how special this car is. Only did one video on it, quick little video walk around in the showroom, and the video picking it up from a very good customer of mine up in Edmonton, and that car was just insane. It was like, I can't even go over the mod list because it'd take so long, but very special car, very unique. You guys know I love unique modified cars, even if they're not, you know, something super expensive. And again, car sold in 1 day, 1 day, 2 days, something like that. So instant sell, really cool car, and that's why it ranks number 4 on my favorite cars sold in 2020, and it's gonna complement car number 3 very nicely. All right, so if you guys are familiar with me and familiar with the channel, you'll know why car number 4 complements car number 3 so nicely. And car number 3 was the pink camo Audi R8 that I took on the Daily Driven Exotics members only rally. So obviously we took the Evo in trade against that R8. That's why it complements it nicely. But the reason why I rank the R8 number 3 on my list was I had quite a bit of seat time with that car. I took it, you know, all across Western Canada with DDE and a bunch of awesome guys from Ontario that came along. Put like 5,500 or 6,000 kilometers on it in like a week and a half. So I got attached to the car. Just, you know, I did the wrap for fun. Some people didn't like it, some people liked it, but I loved it, and it just made that car for me and made it that cool to take on such an awesome rally and make some awesome memories with some awesome people. So, and that car, I will say, I'll get back on trade one day because I know the customer trades in all the time. So looking forward to having that car back and maybe taking on another rally. But for those reasons, that's car number 3 on my favorite cars sold in 2020. All right, so car number 2 on my favorite vehicle I sold in 2020 is the C63 Black Series. Now, that again is a very special car. Only 800 in the world, 100 in North America, 30 in Canada, so a very rare, very unique, very special car. And again, represents something that, you know, we took a gamble on it buying. We paid 3 or 4 times the price that we pay for a non-Black Series C63, so huge gamble to see if there's even demand for something like that. Had, again, a crazy amount of inquiries, but people thinking the car was like the same price as a normal C63, thinking it's like 40 grand, maybe 50 grand, not realizing it's 110. So had, you know, a lot of interest in it, but a lot of people tell me it'd never sell. So, well, it sold pretty quick. So proved those people wrong, and the car to me was just so special because of the differences that the Black Series has over the normal C63, which I do explain in one of my other videos, which if you haven't seen, you can do so by clicking here right now. But for me, I like cars that kind of blend in, but are very special. And that was the best example we've had, I think, all year of a car that nobody cares about in traffic. It's just a C63. People don't realize that it's like factory wide bodied and super rare and super limited and had some cool quirks in the interior. But to me, I loved enjoying it, enjoyed driving it. So for those reasons, car number 2 on my favorite cars I sold in 2020. And this is it. This is what it all comes down to. Car number 1 on my favorite vehicles I've sold all year. And this is, without a doubt, when I put this list together, wasn't even a question. I wrote down everything else last, and this one first is number 1. And anyone that knows me knows I'm a Lamborghini guy, and you guys will know that it's the matte black supercharged LP560. And the reasons why that car is number 1 should be obvious. Like, it's a supercharged matte black Gallardo that looked the part, was absolutely stunning. And the story that went along with it. I mean, you guys will see how we found it and how we bought it. And, you know, the supercharger was a surprise. We didn't even know about it before we bought it. So everything that went along with it in terms of that made it super exciting. And I mean, if you haven't watched my videos, here's what this car sounds like. It is an absolute monster. And for that reason, the supercharged LP560 is hands down my favorite car I sold in 2020. All right, thank you so much for watching this recap on my favorite 10, actually 11, cars I sold in 2020. Coming up in the next week, you're gonna see quite a few videos on just a little bit of a recap on 2020 here, as well as the overall automobile industry in Canada. And if I find some info, maybe on the USA, but we're gonna try to stick to Canada. And also we're gonna do a video recapping our YouTube growth in 2020 and a whole number of cool different ideas. So stay tuned for that. Like this video, hit the subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.